coming up. If somebody decided to do like Michael Flatley's river dance at me while trying to kill me, it would possibly be the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. I am a little bit. In fact, I'm a lot behind on my 2025 horror releases. So I ran a poll and I asked you which one of the 4 options did you want me to actually finally review? And the winner, very, very closely, was Sinners, which is actually one of my most anticipated movies this year, along with Queens of the Dead, which isn't out yet, but believe me, I am tracking it. But the hype that surrounds Sinners is a little bit intimidating, I am not gonna lie. But if you don't know anything about Sinners from 2025, and to you I ask, where have you been since January? I think everybody has seen this trailer, even if you don't watch horror. Let me quickly fill you in. Sinners from 2025 is a vampire horror. Trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their Mississippi hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. If you're new here, I'm Hannah and I am the head of the Horde here on my channel Hordes of Horror, and if you're not new, welcome back. I talk about horror movies here on my channel on Mondays and Fridays, but as always, when it comes to watching movies that I've never seen before, I'm now going to go and watch Sinners off camera, so that way if you too want to watch this movie about vampires in 1932, nothing will be spoiled for you, because nobody wants to watch a movie that you've just watched somebody else watch from start to finish, and I keep it spoiler free here on my channel, because nobody, and I mean nobody, likes spoilers. The hype that surrounded this movie was a little bit off-putting, I'm not gonna lie, but for me, does it live up to that hype? Yeah, it does. Let's talk about the plot like we always do in a very spoiler-free way. Sinners follows 2 brothers named Smoke and Stack as they return to their Mississippi hometown after previously working in Chicago for Al Capone. Back in Mississippi, they are planning on purchasing a sawmill from a racist landowner using stolen money. This landowner looks ridiculously like Boss Hogg from the Dukes of Hazzard, but like 30 years earlier. And they plan on turning this sawmill into a juke joint, which will be a place where the local black community can get together and relax after working all day in plantations in this area. Bear in mind, all of this happens in 1932, which is the very, very tail end of the Prohibition era. Now, while all of this is happening with Smoke and Stack and their cousin Sammy, who is joining them for this journey, an Irish immigrant vampire called Remick is roaming around the countryside and being a menace. He is being hunted down by Chetic, apologies if I am pronouncing it wrong. They are Native American vampire hunters who want him and the problem he's causing dealt with and out of the way, but he is trying to expand on the numbers of vampires that are under his control, and he starts with an open husband and wife team that are part of the pointy-headed white sheet wearing racist variety. Apologies for the very strange description of this, but YouTube does not like it when you say the 3 Ks together, even in historical context, so I hope you get my point. No. So this is the starting point for Sinners. Obviously there is much more going on within the plot, and Annie is my absolute favourite in this. She is Smoke's other half. You find out about her backstory, and it's a little bit heartbreaking when you find out what has actually gone on in their relationship, and there's like a lovely moment at the end that will absolutely have you welling up a little bit. And then you meet Mary, who is Stack's other half, and Mary is a white passing black woman, and there's a whole storyline going on with them. And yeah, Sinners, there's a lot going on with it, and all I can say is, as a very, very white woman who would sunburn off a candle, is it my place to say if this representation is good or bad? Probably not, but I can elevate the voices of those who actually are part of this community, and the general consensus is this is great in terms of like elevating both black talent on camera and behind the scenes as well. It's a bit of a slow burn, I will say that. You've got to stick with it. Things properly start to kick off around the like hour and 15 minutes, I want to say, mark. There's a little bit of a moment when you first meet Remick, but the horror really kicks in the later half of the movie. Like, it's probably got the most menacing Irish jig that you've ever seen in anything in it. Like, if somebody decided to do, like, Michael Flatley's river dance at me while trying to kill me, it would possibly be the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. And that is something that happens in this movie. We've all seen the Irish jig scene. Even if you don't plan on watching Sinners, that scene went absolutely viral. And for a reason, because the soundtrack for this movie it's something else. It is so good. Even if you don't like the movie, the general consensus for Sinners is you will love its soundtrack regardless of what you think of the plot. Being a vampire movie, obviously it is going to get gory, it's going to get bloody. I wish at one point somebody had... There's a scene, and I'm going to call it out because it's the one thing that I watched and went, somebody missed this. There's a scene where the vampires attack and one of the, like, blood spurt gags goes off before somebody is actually bitten. Like, the vampire looks at him and he starts bleeding, and if you know it's there, like, keep an eye out for it. It is probably an hour and a half into it. If you've seen it, look for the Molotov cocktail scene, and it's not that far after that.
Are you serious?
I like the gory. I like the violent. I also like the mind games that Merrick plays, the Irish immigrant vampire, because he's your charming kind of vampires. I always think that vampires are best. If you play Vampire the Masquerade, you will know where I'm coming from this. I think vampires are best when they're not just the super sexy or the super cool. Like, I don't want Twilight vampires, thank you very much, but I also don't want everything to be the Underworld franchise either. I like my vampires to be, like, absolutely anybody. Could be, like, you could walk past strangers on the street and never know that they were a vampire. That's Vampire the Masquerade, because you have everything in Vampire the Masquerade, from the super obvious Nosferatu-looking vampires to the super sexy Toreadors. Like, it gives me everything. And that is the vampires in Sinners. Like, they are absolutely normal people who have accidentally or on purpose been turned into vampires. I need to take a moment, though, to talk about the ending, because as I was watching this, I was, my rating was fluctuating. It went from, like, a 4 to a 4.5, and then it went back down to a 4. But then the ending happens. And anything from, I want to say, the hour and 50-minute mark all the way to the end, like, absolutely no problems with this. I love the very, very end of this movie when you find out what happened to Sammy, because Sammy's journey in this movie, like, he goes from being the son of a preacher who is told that jazz music is basically the root of all paranormal and evil, and then this journey happens to him, but the one thing that's consistent in his life is not religion, it is music. And there's a part in this where he quotes something from the Bible, I can't remember what quote it is exactly, to Merrick, who looks him straight in the eye and says the quote back to him because, of course, the Irish vampire has Catholic roots in him. And he basically says just because he was raised a certain way does not mean that he believes a certain way. Like, there is a lot going on within the plot of Sinners. There's a lot of subtext. There's a lot of, like, subtleties. There's a lot of things that I wouldn't have noticed unless, like, other people had pointed them out to me previously. It's one of those movies where I think if you watch it a second time, you will notice different things that you didn't necessarily notice the first time. Like, the Chinese couple that owns the general store, the wife in that, I love her. Like, she's the ballsy badass of this group who is like, I'm gonna kill every single one of these. Like, she is great. She gets bonus points. Annie gets bonus points. I really like Mary. I really like the girl that Sammy's interested in as well. Like, the ladies in this movie, love all of them. Love a badass lady in a horror movie, and that's what this certainly gave me.
I am a hunky dude. I'm a badass hunky dude.
Do I think that everyone is going to like Sinners? No. Do I think that the hype that surrounds this movie is not going to live up to it for a lot of people? Absolutely. And if this hadn't been one of my 2 most anticipated horror movies of the year, I don't know if I would have watched this movie this year or whether I would have delayed it and watched it next year or the year after, because hype is scary when it comes to movies. It's either going to live up to that hype for you or it's going to fall flat. And it seems with Sinners that those like myself who love the aesthetic of this time period of history, and like there's a lot of things in this that appeal to me personally. Like, the music choice is great. I love the strong female characters in this. I love the strong male characters in this. I love there's so much that appeals to my own personal taste in this. But if you also don't have these personal tastes, I do think that there is still enough in this where you would be able to enjoy it. Just ignore the hype that surrounds it. No movie is going to be able to live up to the hype of something when, like Sinners, it has been pushed to the moon. The last thing that I saw that had the same kind of hype around it as Sinners was Longlegs, and I absolutely did not enjoy Longlegs in the slightest.
Yes.
In the end, I am actually going to give Sinners from 2025 a 5 out of 5 stars, because yes, for me, it really did live up to that hype. And all I can say is, out of all the 2025 releases that have come out so far this year, this is tied for me for my number one spot right now with the Dead Talent Society. I think I would put it just below the Dead Talent Society because that is something special. Like, if you haven't seen the Dead Talent Society, go and watch it. But for me, Sinners was like everything that I want in a vampire movie that also has historical context. And that soundtrack and that ending were just the cherry on top of everything. But my opinion isn't the only one that matters, which begs the question, should you personally watch Sinners from 2025 if you like your horror movies flavoured with black culture and representation that is actually positive? Prohibition time periods, lots and lots of guns, gnarly vampires, amazing soundtracks, or anything that is listed here, then you should probably go and watch Sinners from 2025. And for me to say that something lives up at to the hype that's been surrounding it, stunned. Didn't think that was going to happen. So there you have it, my initial thoughts and my review for my first time watching Sinners from 2025. And I apologise if this one was a little bit rambly. I just felt like there was a lot that I needed to get out for this one. If you've seen the movie, I would love to know what your thoughts and opinions are on it down in the comment section down below. And if you do want to watch it, there'll be a link as always to justwatch.com in the description bar so you can find out where it is streaming in your country. If you would like to know where else you can find me, I am also over on Instagram and Letterboxd at HordesOfHorror, where I post every single horror movie that I watch, not just the ones that I talk about here on YouTube. But speaking of YouTube, I'll be back on Monday with another list video, and this one is coming a little bit sooner than I thought this one was going to be. But I also asked you not too long ago in the last list video, did you want a Death Games recommendation? And the number of you that said do the Death Games list. So yes, on Monday, we're talking about Death Game recommendations specifically within the horror genre. So until next time, bye. A special thank you though to my regenerators here within the Horde for their support over on Patreon.